the sun dipped behind the harbor, turning the Lagos skyline into streaks of molten gold and crimson. Michael stood at the edge of the pier, suitcase in hand, staring at the small apartment he had shared with Lara for 10 years. Each window, each corner, seemed to whisper memories, arguments, laughter, shared breakfasts, whispered secrets in the dark. And now, it was all gone. Inside, Lara waited, her posture calm, composed. Yet her eyes shimmered with a quiet storm of emotion. "I can't do this anymore, Michael," she said, her voice steady but laced with exhaustion. "Every day has become a battle. I need freedom." Michael swallowed the lump in his throat. He wanted to argue, to beg, to plead that they could fix this. But years of drifting apart had eroded the bridges between them. His nod was small, almost imperceptible. "I understand," he said quietly, though his chest felt hollow. The morning air was sharp, carrying the scent of the sea and distant city life. He zipped up his suitcase, pausing as his fingers brushed against the old leather, worn from years of travel and moving between apartments. Each crease reminded him of moments with Lara, some tender, some painful, all irreplaceable. As he stepped out, the door closed behind him with a soft click, final and absolute. Michael was leaving. Not just the apartment, but the life they had built together. The routines, the late-night conversations, the arguments that had once felt trivial but now weighed like stones in his chest. The plane to Lagos felt like a vessel of possibilities. A new city, a new start, anonymity. And the chance to rebuild himself from scratch. Michael tried to focus on the excitement, the prospect of a managerial position in a thriving multinational. The vibrant streets, the pulse of a city that never slept. But loneliness lingered like a shadow. Nights on his balcony were the hardest. He would gaze at the city lights, imagining Lara somewhere, perhaps moving on, laughing, or even thinking of him. The thought was both a dagger and a comfort, proof that she was alive, thriving, and yet, impossibly distant. Then came a message from an old acquaintance. "Did you see? Lara married quickly. She's with someone very influential now." Michael reread the text, disbelief and curiosity swirling in equal measure. She had moved on faster than he imagined. Not only that, she had stepped into a world he could barely comprehend. His chest tightened, a mix of jealousy, shock, and an undeniable curiosity. He needed to see it for himself. To witness how she had transformed into someone entirely new. Michael reread the text, disbelief and curiosity swirling in equal measure. She had moved on faster than he imagined. Not only that, she had stepped into a world he could barely comprehend. His chest tightened, a mix of jealousy, shock, and an undeniable curiosity. He needed to see it for himself. To witness how she had transformed into someone entirely new. And so, his new chapter began, amidst Lagos' relentless chaos. The unfamiliar faces, the music spilling into the streets. And the pulsating energy of a city that demanded adaptation, resilience, and courage. Little did Michael know. The life he was about to enter would challenge every assumption he had about love, loyalty, and human ambition. Every step forward in Lagos would lead him closer to a revelation he could never have predicted, and a lesson that would leave him questioning everything he thought he knew about Lara and himself. Lagos was unlike anything Michael had ever experienced. The streets were alive, a cacophony of sound and movement, horns honking, street vendors shouting their wares, children darting between vehicles, and music spilling from every corner in rhythmic, contagious beats. It was overwhelming, chaotic, yet intoxicating in its energy. Michael settled into his modest apartment in Victoria Island, the balcony giving him a panoramic view of the city's frenetic heartbeat. The office was a different storm entirely, colleagues from across continents, vibrant personalities clashing and collaborating, and projects demanding not only skill but subtle social maneuvering. Every day felt like a test of wits, endurance, and strategy. Despite the whirlwind, Michael thrived professionally. His calm demeanor, strategic insight, and meticulous approach earned respect. Yet, at night, alone on the balcony, memories of Lara returned, sharper than any corporate email or business challenge. Then came the event that would shift everything a week after settling in. Michael was invited to a rooftop gala, a networking event teeming with Lagos elite. The city's skyline glittered under thousands of lights, reflecting on the polished floors of the venue. He moved through the crowd, offering polite nods, carefully listening, observing, but never letting himself get too involved. Until he overheard a conversation that stopped him in his tracks. "She's married now," a man said, swirling a glass of wine, to a man no one expected. "Influential, powerful. He owns half the city, it seems." Michael's chest tightened. He forced a casual smile and asked, almost casually, "Who?" The name hit him like a tidal wave: Lara. And her husband, someone prominent, powerful, commanding attention with an effortless grace. The revelation ignited a storm inside him: disbelief, curiosity, and a strange sense of urgency. She hadn't just moved on, she had ascended. Strategically and beautifully. Determined to see her for himself, Michael began attending more social events, slowly navigating the elite circles of Lagos. Each gathering was a lesson in observation, body language, whispered alliances, unspoken hierarchies. And each time, thoughts of Lara lingered, sharper, heavier, more insistent. One evening, at a private dinner party, he caught his first glimpse of her from across the room. Lara moved through the guests with a natural confidence, laughing, nodding, commanding attention without effort. Beside her, her husband radiated charm and charisma, effortlessly interacting with everyone. Michael felt a mixture of awe and envy. She had grown into someone untouchable, not through malice, but through sheer intelligence, presence, and strategy. Yet, beneath the perfection, he noticed subtle cracks, brief moments where her gaze softened, or her smile flickered with something unreadable. A hint of the woman he had once known. That night, walking home through Lagos' glittering streets, Michael realized something profound. Lara's journey was no longer just about their past. It was about ambition, resilience, and transformation. The woman he had known had evolved into someone capable of navigating worlds he had barely imagined. And in that realization, a seed of purpose grew within him. Michael understood that his own journey wasn't just about moving away. It was about finding strength, reclaiming identity, and confronting truths he had long avoided. Little did he know, the moment to confront those truths was coming faster than he expected, and when it did, it would challenge not only his emotions but his understanding of power, love, and human nature itself. The night of the Grand Meridian Charity Gala arrived wrapped in elegance and spectacle. Crystal chandeliers bathed the ballroom in warm golden light, while a live band filled the air with soft jazz that blended perfectly with the murmur of elite conversation. The scent of expensive perfume and polished wood floated through the hall, signaling status, wealth, and influence. Michael stepped inside, adjusting his cufflinks, reminding himself he belonged here just as much as anyone else. Months in Lagos had hardened him, sharpened his instincts, refined his confidence. Yet tonight carried a strange weight he couldn't explain. He moved through clusters of guests, exchanging greetings and handshakes. But his focus fractured the moment he saw her. Lara. She stood across the room, illuminated under chandelier light, wearing a deep emerald gown that seemed to command attention without effort. Her posture was upright, graceful, confident. Nothing like the version of her that once doubted herself in their small apartment years ago. Beside her stood her husband, Adrian, charismatic, relaxed, laughing easily with influential figures. He carried authority naturally, yet Lara's presence was equally commanding. Michael's heartbeat quickened. He considered leaving. He considered ignoring her. But destiny rarely honors comfort. Their eyes met. Time slowed. Recognition sparked instantly. Lara excused herself from her conversation and approached him, her expression calm but searching. Michael, she said softly. Lara, he replied, voice steady despite the surge of memories. For a moment neither spoke. Years of shared history lingered between them, invisible but tangible. You look well, she said. I've learned to adapt, he answered. Lagos teaches that quickly. A faint smile touched her lips. Yes, it does. Silence again, not awkward, but heavy with unspoken truths. Finally, she gestured toward the hall. You've done well to find your place here. Michael met her gaze. I could say the same. You've built something remarkable. Her eyes softened, just slightly, revealing vulnerability beneath composure. Life forces growth, she said. Sometimes painfully. Before he could respond, Adrian approached. Ah, you must be Michael, he said warmly, extending a hand. I've heard about you. Michael shook it firmly. Only good things, I hope. Adrian chuckled. History deserves respect. Anyone who shaped Lara's past has my attention. The remark wasn't hostile, but it carried subtle authority. Michael understood the message, boundaries existed now. Take care of her, Michael replied calmly. Adrian nodded. That's the intention. They parted with civility. Yet Michael felt the emotional impact ripple through him long after. Later that evening, Michael observed from a distance. He watched Lara navigating conversations, influencing decisions, commanding rooms with elegance. But he also noticed something others wouldn't, small pauses in her expression. Moments where her smile faded before returning stronger. He realized something then. Her life wasn't perfect. It was disciplined. Strategic. Earned. Just like his own transformation had been. Leaving the gala, Michael walked along the illuminated streets of Lagos. The city humming beneath neon lights and distant music. For the first time since arriving, he felt clarity. Seeing Lara hadn't reopened wounds, it had closed them. He understood now. Their separation wasn't failure. It was evolution. Two people shaped by circumstance. Moving in different directions toward their own destinies. Yet deep inside, Michael sensed this encounter wasn't the end of their intersecting paths. Something bigger was unfolding, a revelation. Still hidden beneath the surface, one that would soon force both of them to confront truths neither was prepared for. Weeks passed after the gala. Yet the encounter lingered in Michael's mind like an unfinished conversation. Lagos moved fast, deals signed, alliances formed. Reputations built overnight, but certain moments refused to fade. Michael immersed himself in work, leading a major expansion project that demanded precision and diplomacy. Late nights became routine. The glow of his laptop screen replaced city lights as his companion. Then one afternoon, during a high-level strategy meeting, a familiar name appeared on the presentation slide. Adrian Holdings, strategic partner. Michael's attention sharpened. The partnership would require close collaboration with Adrian's firm, and inevitably, Lara's involvement. Fate, it seemed, wasn't finished weaving their paths together. The first professional crossing. The boardroom smelled faintly of polished wood and coffee. Executives filled their seats, laptops open, expressions sharp. When Lara entered, she carried the same composed authority, but now, she wasn't a memory or a social acquaintance. She was a strategic partner. Professional. Equal. Their eyes met briefly. No emotional turbulence this time, just mutual recognition. Mr. Michael, she said formally, extending her hand. Ms. Lara, he replied, matching her tone. The room buzzed with discussion, projections, risks, timelines, but beneath it, an unspoken understanding passed between them. They were no longer defined by their past. They were professionals navigating the same arena. And both excelled. Cracks in the perfect image. Over the next few meetings, Michael observed something others missed. Lara carried responsibility heavily, managing expectations from investors, Adrian's company, and her own ambitions. Her confidence never faltered publicly, yet subtle signs revealed strain. A delayed breath after tense negotiations. A brief tightening of her jaw. Late-night emails sent hours after meetings ended. One evening after a particularly exhausting session, Michael caught her alone in the conference lounge. "You don't have to carry everything yourself," he said quietly. She looked at him, surprised, guarded, then exhaled. "You of all people know I always did." Michael nodded. "Yes, and it cost us." The honesty hung in the air. Lara softened. "We both made mistakes." It wasn't accusation. It was acceptance. And in that moment, years of resentment dissolved into mutual understanding. A deeper revelation. As collaboration intensified, Michael uncovered something unexpected. Lara wasn't just supporting Adrian's empire, she was shaping it. Many of the boldest strategic moves carried her insight. Her foresight, her quiet influence. Yet the world credited Adrian. Michael realized something profound. True power isn't always visible. Sometimes it operates quietly, guiding outcomes without applause. When he finally voiced this observation, Lara smiled faintly. "Recognition isn't always the goal," she said. "Impact is." That sentence stayed with him. The emotional crossroads. Their professional partnership gradually restored something deeper, not romance. Not attachment, but respect. One night, after concluding a major deal that benefited both firms, they shared a quiet conversation overlooking the city skyline. "No matter where life took us," Michael admitted, "you becoming this strong. I'm proud of you." Lara's eyes glistened slightly. "And you rebuilding yourself. I never doubted you could." Silence followed, peaceful, reflective. The past no longer controlled them. It had shaped them. The coming storm. Just as stability settled, rumors began circulating, whispers of financial maneuvering, political pressure, and corporate rivalry targeting Adrian's empire. Power attracts competition. And competition rarely plays fair. Michael sensed trouble approaching, something capable of testing loyalties, integrity, and the strength Lara had fought to build. Neither of them knew yet how deeply the coming events would shake their worlds, or how their shared history would become crucial in facing what lay ahead. The rumors didn't stay whispers for long. Within weeks, headlines, boardroom tension, and shifting investor confidence made one thing clear. Adrian's empire was under pressure. Contracts stalled. Partners hesitated. Competitors circled like predators sensing weakness. Michael first noticed it during an emergency strategy call. Voices were sharper than usual, patience thinner. Market fluctuations alone couldn't explain it. Something deliberate was unfolding behind the scenes. And Lara knew it. The breaking point. Late one evening, Michael received a message from Lara asking to meet. He found her in a quiet office overlooking the glowing Lagos skyline. Papers covered the desk. Financial reports. Legal notes. Risk projections. For the first time since he'd seen her in this world. She looked tired, not defeated, but human. "They're targeting us," she said directly. Hostile pressure. Manipulated supply contracts. Investor panic. Michael studied the documents. "This isn't random. Someone wants control." She nodded. "And Adrian's handling public response. But strategy needs precision now." He met her eyes. "You want my help?" A pause. Then honesty. "I trust your judgment." Years ago, those words would have carried emotional weight. Now they carried professional respect, deeper and steadier. Michael agreed. Strategy over ego. For days they worked relentlessly, analyzing vulnerabilities, countering moves, restoring confidence among partners. Michael proposed a bold restructuring approach. Transparent communication. With stakeholders combined with decisive financial adjustments. Adrian initially resisted. "We don't show weakness," he argued. Michael remained calm. "It's not weakness. It's leadership. Control the narrative before others define it." Lara supported the strategy. After tense debate, Adrian relented. The plan launched. And slowly, steadily, the tide turned. Investor trust stabilized. Contracts regained momentum. Market confidence returned. The crisis passed. The realization. One evening after the victory, the three met privately. Adrian extended his hand to Michael. "You didn't just help the company. You helped protect everything we built." Michael shook it. "We all did." Adrian nodded, respect genuine now. As Adrian stepped away, Lara remained. City lights shimmered behind her, reflections dancing in her eyes. "You could have walked away," she said quietly. "After everything between us." Michael smiled faintly. "We shared a life once. That doesn't disappear. It transforms." She absorbed that emotion flickering beneath composure. "Do you regret it?" she asked. "Our ending?" Michael considered carefully. "I regret the pain, not the growth. We became who we needed to become." Her expression softened, peaceful acceptance settling over her features. "Me too." The moral turning point. Standing on the balcony watching Lagos pulse with life, Michael understood the deeper lesson of his journey. Divorce hadn't been defeat. Moving overseas hadn't been escape. Seeing Lara succeed hadn't been loss. It had all been transformation. He learned. Pride destroys connection. Growth demands discomfort. Respect outlives romance. And true strength is letting go without bitterness. Lara learned something too: balance between ambition and connection. Between influence and humility. Two separate journeys. One shared wisdom. The final closure. Months later. Michael stood again at the harbor, the same place he once arrived, uncertain and wounded. Now he felt grounded. Whole. His phone buzzed with a message from Lara. "Thank you for everything. Truly." He typed back. "Take care of the empire." A smile crossed his face as he slipped the phone into his pocket. The past no longer weighed on him. It had become part of his foundation, not his prison. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Michael turned toward the future, ready, steady, and free. Because sometimes the greatest victory after loss isn't reclaiming what you had. It's discovering who you became without it.